Hey, good day folks. I'm looking here at an easy problem from HackerRank. So what they want us to do is they want us to implement a function that receives a string as a parameter, and they want us to tell if that string is an anagram of a palindrome. So palindrome is a string where that is spelled the same in both directions, so both back to front and front to back. The spelling doesn't change. And an anagram is a word where the order of the characters in the word have been rearranged. So some examples here. We've got a even length string where each character occurs an even number of times. So we can rearrange that into a palindrome. Then let's check another example here. So we've got a string that's got an odd number of characters inside. So one character occurs an odd number of times, the other character occurs an even number of times. So again, we can reorganize that into a palindrome. Now the last example here is where they just give us a character sequence, so there's no way to reorganize that to get to a palindrome. Okay, so let's see how to solve it. Okay, so my current thinking here is that our answer is going to be different depending on the length of the string. So if the string's got an even length, then all characters need to occur an even number of times. And if the string is has got an odd length, then only one character can occur an odd number of times. So we do need to keep track of whether characters occur an odd or an even number of times. Now the way I propose to do that is we are going to have a lookup table with flags where we the flag indicate whether the character occurs an odd or even number of times. So let mutable lookup table be an array of flags of length 26, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to initialize all the flags to true, because if a character does not occur in the string, then I want to treat it as if it occurred an even number of times, because I'm just interested in finding the characters that occurred an odd number of times. So true 26 times. Okay, so to populate this, what we're going to do is we're going to iterate over the characters in the string. Okay, now we need to convert that character to an index in our lookup table. So we want to subtract a from the character. Now we cannot do arithmetic on characters in Rust, so we first have to convert that to a numeric type. I'm going to convert the character to a usize because we want an index for the lookup table, and indexes need to be usize. And then we need to subtract a from that character. Okay, now all we need to do here is we need to toggle the flag in the lookup table. So the first time we find it, it's going to be true, but will get toggled to false. So the second time we encounter the same character, it's going to be false in the lookup table, so we toggle it and it becomes true because now we've seen the character 2 times, so it's now even. Okay, so that's our lookup table done. Now in terms of the return values, they want us to return either yes or no. So let's just create our constants for the return. Okay, so we've got our return constants. Okay, now in terms of the determining what to return, I mentioned there are 2 cases. So the first case is when the string is an even length. Okay, now what we want to check in this case is we expect that all characters should occur an even number of times. If we find a character that occurred an odd number of times, then this cannot be an anagram of a palindrome. So now we need to just check all the entries in our lookup table, and the way that I'm going to do that is I'm just going to do a boomer loop. I mean, there are better ways to do this in Rust, but I'm old. I'm a boomer. Okay, so if lookup table, so if it's true, we don't care, just continue on to the next entry. Otherwise, we're going to okay, so we found an entry that occurred a character that occurred an odd number of times, so that cannot be an anagram of a palindrome. Otherwise, if we've looped over the entire table and everything's true, now we know that the word matches the criteria. Okay, so our second case is when the strings got an odd length. Now in this case, I want to count the number of characters that occur an odd number of times. And that count should be exactly 1. If there are no characters that occur an odd number of times, then it cannot be an anagram of a palindrome. And same if there are more characters that occur an odd number of times, then yeah, it won't satisfy the criteria. So let's have a count over here. Again, just usize because we're already working with usize as the indexes. Again here, I'm lazy. Let's just do a boomer loop over here. Okay, so let's quickly see here. So if it's a even entry, we don't care. Just continue on to the next one. Otherwise, if it's an odd entry, what I want to do is I want to increase the count. Okay, now in terms of a return value, we expect that count should be exactly equal to 1, in which case we're going to say yes, it matches the criteria. Otherwise, we're just going to say no, it doesn't match the criteria. Okay. Now my Rust is rusty, so I might need to patch up some compiler errors. Let's check it out. Okay, wow, my Rust is definitely getting better. Anyway, let's submit it and see if it passes all test cases. Cool, awesome. So all test cases passed. Now I did previously solve this puzzle already. It's just that there was a problem with the audio recording, so I had to repeat the exercise to capture the audio. But I've definitely got a few extra hackaroos that I can use to get some hints with the test cases for the more difficult problems. Anyway, I'm going to record a few more videos and I'll see you later.